It's a poison. That doesn't help the stress level. No, don't do it. Get a grip. This stupid video I just showed you. I almost stroked out and died over it. You're watching a different show. You donkey. You ain't a captain of nothing but a sinking ship. Don't do this to me, Harry. The Ohio State. It's Ohio State. What do you mean, the? 312-988-15.
Hello?
You tell Johnny all you've heard and seen. Sometimes it's good to just yell about football. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Welcome in. Welcome back, folks. I gotta tell you, I'm in a fairly decent mood. This has got to be the best mood this show and ecosystem has been in since before the Miami game. Right? Like, I'm excited about this week. You have a little pulse. You have a little spark. You have a little hope. You have a little dignity. You have, dare I say, a little bit of confidence in Notre Dame now. It just feels good, man. It just feels good. You had a good Notre Dame weekend. You had a good Notre Dame weekend with what you did and some other things that kind of happened around the country, and we'll get into them, especially USC. I want to get in and hit on what that Illinois road loss means for Notre Dame playing USC. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Michigan goes to LA before we play USC. That's going to be another interesting week for USC before they come to town and play Notre Dame. So it just feels better, man. It's the best vibes you've had since heading into Miami, because then you had the Miami loss. Everybody's down and out. Then you add the A&M loss, which was really bad, and you're down again. Then you beat Purdue, but you gave up 30 points, and there was still a lot not to like from the defensive side of the ball. Even though you beat them by a lot, you gave up 30, and you don't feel good about that. Now you had this, and you had this performance, and Notre Dame still got a long way to go defensively from where any of us want them to be. But the Arkansas result was the best possible result you could have asked for. I did not see anyone in Notre Dame land predicting that kind of score, that kind of defensive differential. I didn't see anybody predicting that, and neither did I. It was, I'm expecting good offenses, bad defenses, and see what the hell happens. That's what I was expecting. You got better than that. Smoke them if you got them. You got better than that out of this. And it was the best case scenario for Notre Dame. And we're going to debate, how fixed is the Notre Dame defense? How much credit do you give for running up all those points on what we knew was a brutally awful Arkansas defense? Like we can have those debates all you want. You had a really good Notre Dame weekend. You won. You blew them out. You feel a little bit better about the defense. At least you got to feel a little bit better. And then you were able to sit there and relax and watch some other fan bases stress it out all night. I got to tell you, that was one of the best parts of this, folks. I see a bunch of calls. I'm going to shut up quick, give you guys the lines. The most enjoyable part of all this was you get that big win in your pocket from that blowout. Then, for once in your miserable, stress-filled Notre Dame existence, you were able to drink a beer, kick on the couch, and watch these other teams struggle and fan bases stress out between Alabama, Georgia, and Penn State, Oregon, flipping between my fingers worn out from hitting the return back and forth, watching those games play to play. It just felt really relaxing to have that big blowout in your pocket. and be able to sit there and watch them all stress out till 11 at night. And it wasn't you for once. It wasn't you for once. So I had a really enjoyable night with that. And listen, the argument is Arkansas was down and out. Already rumors they were firing Pittman no matter what happened in this game. Like, you knew their defense was trash. Like, you knew all that. And people are taking away from Notre Dame's win by being like, they were down and out looking for a reason to quit anyways. And then you did that big deal, whatever. Listen, good job. That's what you should do, is if the coach is on the way out, you be the one that puts the final nail in the guy's coffin. Like, you can't feel bad about that. Like I know they were down and out. This kind of game is what you do for a team that's teetering and ready to quit on the coach or whatever else. You got to be a good enough team to put that final nail in the coffin, and Notre Dame did it in a big way. And so if you're looking at the actual gameplay, I think there's two different ways to look at it. One is, how good in reality is Notre Dame's offense getting under Carr? You know, you got all this Arch Manning, everybody worshiping at the altar of Arch Manning. I'd rather have CJ Carr. Like, endless stories about the Manning DNA pipeline and everything, hyping him up, and all the little segments on game day and showing Eli and the dad and the grandpa and Peyton and all this stuff. I'd rather have CJ Carr playing way better football. Looks way more comfortable and control. So you got an exciting horizon here offensively of what this is going to turn into. Most of my questions are defensively. A question for the group is, how much trust and credibility did the Notre Dame defense earn back from you for what they did against Arkansas? How much? You could tell me none, and I'll believe it's fair. You could tell me a little bit, but you got to prove it in these next big group of games heading into the next bye. Like, I am genuinely wondering if any credibility was built back here. And because here's what you're able to say. Commander says none. That's fair. That I'm not even going to push back. Like, that's fair. I guess I'll say this, though. Okay, I'll push back just a tiny bit. While you can use the argument that you knew Arkansas's defense was bad, and therefore when you put up 1,000,000 points in yards, it's kind of expected because they're really, really bad, and they are really, really bad. Arkansas's offense did not enter this game really, really bad. Averaged 44 points a game, and their quarterback was responsible for the most points scored or yards gained or whatever in the country. He was right up there. So Notre Dame did some good things. They did some good things. And so you can't use the argument, well, you knew Arkansas's offense sucks, so therefore you get no credit for whatever you did defensively. No, that was a potent offense till Notre Dame played it. Now, do I think they had a bad day? Yeah. Do I think they had 1 foot in the exit ramp? Yeah. Did their quarterback look off? Yeah. Did they have some drops early and a couple missed opportunities? Yeah. But like, Notre Dame deserves credit for that too. You're the opposition out there making them make mistakes or whatever it is. So it was definitely a step in the right direction. Let's say that. All right. Introduction, super chats, and then yeah, we got callers already. So introduction, super chats, we'll go to the calls. The two things I want to know are, is 10-2 college football playoff on your mind now? Or is it way too early, totally dangerous to look at it, and all you're allowed to do when you start out 0-2 is try and win 1 game a week? Check them off the calendar. That's what I want to know. The big storyline now is 10-2 Notre Dame in the playoff or not. You got a long way to go. So I want to know if that is even in your mind now, or if you are still wait and see, prove it to me week by week. I am not looking ahead of anyone. I am not looking down the schedule at all. When you start talking Notre Dame 10-2 CFP, it gets views on YouTube. It gets clicks on your articles. When you start doing that narrative, it drives clicks. I think it's way too early. You are not good enough yet. You are not good enough to start thinking that way. I think after starting out 0-2 and the defense still, you're wait and see. In my mind, you are nowhere near that. Nowhere near that. Here's what you need to do. You need to do what you did last year. You're out of sight, out of mind in the rankings now, down in the 20s or whatever, because of those 2 losses, which is justifiable. You just need to start winning, flying under the radar like last year at this time after Northern Illinois. Everybody wrote you off. You fly under the radar, log 1 win a week, and you let absolute chaos happen in front of you, and you just hope at the end you move up enough. That is it. That is it. That is all you could do. Win 1 game a week, flying under the radar, and then let all the chaos happen like it happened this weekend. Let everybody else beat each other a few times, and then you move up right under the radar and you sneak in the back door. But you got to be perfect. Notre Dame's put themselves in a spot in back-to-back years where you have no wiggle room and you got to win out. 1 game at a time. That's all you can do. This team is not good enough to start doing the project where you look at the schedule and go, oh, that's a win, that's a win, that's a win. Keep it moving. You are not. Who do you think you are? You are not good enough to do that. You earned the chain back from me because I'm proud of this performance against Arkansas. You earned chain privileges back, but you ain't good enough to start going, oh, there's a win, log that, keep it moving. No. Mm-mm. So you got to string together a bunch of wins and let chaos happen and see where you end up. I'll tell you this. I know there's all this debate about, listen, they're not going to say it, but if there's a 10-2 Notre Dame sitting out there at the bottom of that playoff field, like on the outskirts, who do you think that committee's putting in? 10-2, like Arizona State or somebody, like 10-2, whoever out, like middle tier SEC program, 10-2 or whatever, or Notre Dame. That is where they'll never admit it. But that is where I think the brand recognition of Notre Dame comes into play. So you could disagree with that. It's a factor. You want 10-2, like I'm just throwing out like no-name schools that don't move the needle, right? Like any of them, whatever. I'm just saying a 10-2 Notre Dame at the bottom of that field will be attracted to the TV people and everybody else. So, but that's all you could do is get to 10-2. And I'm going to say this right now. If there's a bunch of other teams that are 10-2 or 11-1 and they and whatever, then you deserve to not make it. If they're Bruce, you're calling my personal line, not the call-in line, bro. You can't be making that mistake. You're a veteran in this business. If you don't make it, you don't make it. And you really can't complain about it because you lost your first 2 games. And the other thing is, too, Miami deserved to beat Notre Dame. We handed that A&M game away. Like, Miami literally played better than us, more sound football, ready to go right away. They earned that win over there. You really gave the A&M one away, and it really hurts. It really hurts. You would be sitting pretty with 1 loss in the top 10 right now, feeling pretty good with feeling like you had a game in your pocket maybe. Nope. That's how I feel about it. Miami earned that damn win. You gave A&M one at home, and you just can't afford to do it. So thanks for being here. As always, find the program on YouTube. Do it, subscribe, give the video a thumbs up. That ups Johnny out as well. Notifications on that way you don't miss a thing. Twitter, search bar, Always Irish, Always Irish Inc. Email is alwaysirishnd@gmail.com. Audio only, anywhere you want it. You can get it if you don't want to see my silly, stupid face. Nobody blames you for that. Call in lines 312-900-8815. We'll get to them after the chats. Notre Dame on SI. Read all about it. Patreon.com/alwaysirish. Good show with Goolsby and I last night on the YouTube channel. We're going on Monday Night Raw tonight. and we'll get Mike's thoughts on Patreon about how much did the Notre Dame defense improve? Like, what can you take from it? What is real from this, and what isn't? And so I don't know. Dude, Xander, why are you going after the Ohio podcast? Eric's a personal friend, always been respectful and nice. Why are you going at him? He's a nice guy. I could vouch for him. Why? He didn't even, what did he say that's so bad? Jeez, that's tough. That's tough. So yeah, here's the thing, man. Notre Dame wins. You listen, the USC loss, I've seen people be like, the USC loss really, really hurts Notre Dame because now Notre Dame doesn't have another ranked opponent and that really hurts and you wanted them to win or whatever. I hear all the time, strength of schedule, strength of record matters so much. Then when we get to playoff time, I feel like they just reward teams that don't lose regardless of the schedule. I have yet to see them really get up there and go, this team could be in the playoff, but they didn't play enough good teams. I just don't see it. Everybody talks about it. And then at the end of the day, I feel like if you just don't lose a lot of games, they're going to put you in, even if half your schedule isn't even Power 4. I'm telling you, I hear all about it and how important that strength of everything is. And they even talk about it. But at the end of the day, they reward teams that just don't lose a lot, regardless of the schedule. I've yet to see them really make a stand to keep a team out that played a Power 4 type schedule. I've yet to see it. So go ahead and lose to Illinois. Go ahead and get beat by Michigan at home so that you're all wobbly and don't feel good about yourself when we play you then. So, I mean, like, whatever. Like, so I wouldn't mind seeing Michigan beat them. So when they come here, they don't have that USC swag. So whatever, man. Like, I'm going to, what do you want me to do? Sit there, root for USC over Illinois? Like, whatever, man. Notre Dame may very well go 10-2, but they're not going to have any quality wins. A 10-2 SC team gets in. Yep. If that ends up happening, that's fair. You just got to hope for a lot of chaos. But the main point of all this is, let's reverse course. The main part of all this is Notre Dame cannot continue to put itself behind the playoff 8 ball to start every single year, because you're not going to go on 10 and 14 game win streaks every year. You're asking too much of yourself. So that's the other thing. It's like, well, Notre Dame under Marcus Freeman does a good job of bouncing back, and that's impressive and whatever. This game kind of reminded you of when we opened up a can on Purdue last year, right? After Northern Illinois. Great. My point is, you need to get in a position where you don't need to bounce back with your back against the wall. That's the next level for the Notre Dame program, is getting to November with a game or two to play with on CFP wiggle room. That's where you want to be. That's the next step for this program. Is not me. I'm sick of writing articles. Oh, Notre Dame bounced back, but backs against the playoff wall. You need to get to where you don't have to do that. You need to be good enough where you don't have to do that late in the year. Chris says, 100%, John. Indy should be rooting for pure chaos. Wait, that's all you could do. You win your one game a week under the radar, and then you look at the schedule around the country, and you just say, I need an upset here. I need an upset here. I want this team to get their first loss, this team to get their second loss. Let everybody beat each other up, especially in the two mega conferences. And then you just see where you fall. 10-2 may not get it done this year. If there's some other 10-2s with the better opponents, and I don't know. All you can control now is getting to the 10. And then just pray for a lot of weird stuff. And when you got the Big Ten the way it is and the SEC the way it is, man, you're going to have a lot of teams that are good that are beating each other up. You just are. Pump faking. USC still dangerous. I don't care what nobody says. Especially when you have Notre Dame's defense. Yeah, everybody's dangerous when you have Notre Dame's defense that I still can't fully trust. One game against Arkansas doesn't make me undo all I've seen and the pain I've felt with this Notre Dame defense. One more statement on Big Game James. Then we'll do the chats Then I'll give it to the calls. One more. Okay. I really got a problem with this Penn State thing. I really got a problem with this Penn State thing. Follow me here, you guys. Penn State lost to Notre Dame in that semifinal game. Since the second that game is ended, Penn State has been able to fully 100% prepare for this Oregon game. So you had January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. You had 8.5, 9 months for Penn State to 100% prepare for Oregon. And you're like, well, what do you mean, man? They had a few games before then. You had all the offseason. You had 3 high school opponents. You had a bye week. And then you hosted Oregon at home at night in a whiteout. You could not possibly ever, if somebody told you to, no limitations, hand design a roadmap for Penn State to win that ball game, that's the roadmap. You had 8 or 9 months to do nothing but prepare for this moment. 3 high school teams to work out all the kinks and figure every little thing out. Then a bye week to build up, and then a night game at home with one of the best home crowds in the world. And you still couldn't pull it off. So it is good that everybody's finally like to just take the air out of the Penn State balloon and everybody questioning Franklin and Aller. I'm sorry. Aller, I mean, those are 2 of the biggest mistakes you could possibly make, are the ones he just made against Notre Dame and then in this game with those interceptions. I'm sorry. But you could not have built a more favorable ramp up into this game than what it was. And they still failed in it, and I love it. People are bringing up, John, how are you going to react to Indiana versus Penn State, the fake tough guy thing? Part of me wants Indiana to beat their ass. I'm sick of these Penn State people. I'm sick of all the chatter and never backing it up ever. So whatever. I might root for Cignetti on that one. I'm sorry, and I don't like either, but I might root for Cignetti on that. So that's my thought on Penn State. You could not have hand-designed a roadmap more favorable than the one they had, and they still couldn't get it done. And they fought back. But the fact that you had 3 points in the biggest game of the year, you had 9 months to prepare for. Come on, bro. Oh, they're number 1 this year. This is going to be the year. Psych your mind, bro. So whatever. I'm glad it happened at home too. It would be totally different if it happened out at Oregon. I'm glad it happened at home. I'm glad. John, Notre Dame is Penn State. I don't get it. Even Notre Dame's won more top 10 games than they have. He's 4-21 against the top 10, Kent. I don't like him. I don't like that fan base. I don't. John, Penn State only lost 1 game. Yeah, I can count. I'm aware of that, and I'm glad they lost it. So what do you want from me at 9:22 in the morning? That's the other thing. So I got that comment, and then I got the one from SPF when I started talking about LSU losing, and then he said, you got 2 losses. Why don't you sit this one out? Well, you know what, you guys? I got news for you. If the rule is, if my team isn't great, I can't comment on any other games that happen, then I guess I'm out of a job. Like, I understand. I understand what you're saying. Like, John, your team isn't all high and mighty. Where do you get off? But if I'm in a position where if Notre Dame isn't like undefeated, I can't comment on any other games that happen, I'm out of a job. I should go back to selling graves for a living. Right? SPF, that's the truth. By the way, I'm glad we have our real names back. I was getting damn frustrated when it was all SPF 749er/4. SPF's right. You got to thread the needle. Your SPF, I like having you here, man. You're right. That was my reaction. You have to thread the needle. Notre Dame is not good enough for me to troll anyone. I didn't have it in me to go to Blake's post-game show for LSU and start trolling him about their loss. Notre Dame is nowhere near good enough for me to troll anyone at this point. All you could do, though, is you could point out what's happening around the country in a factual way without trolling. That SPF, you're right. You got to be right. I got to be right in the middle. You can point out what's happened without trolling. And that's the line I got to walk. We're not good enough for me to troll anybody. Punch myself in the face. What are you talking about? We're not good enough or in a position to be doing that, but I could point out what's factually going on. Somebody said Boise is the highest rated offense, Notre Dame will face coming up or whatever. And I did look that up. Here's the issue. Lost to South Florida, I believe week 1, then piled up a boatload of numbers against Eastern Washington, Air Force, and Appalachian State. So you run the stats or whatever, and it says they're the most effective offense or whatever that you're going to face or whatever. But how do you judge Eastern Washington, Air Force, and Appalachian State compared to Notre Dame's defense? And then obviously South Florida had a pretty good year. Nobody knew what they're going to be week 1 and beat them. So I just want to say that's kind of, how do you measure that? Where Notre Dame's defense is at, and then the numbers they compiled against Eastern, the Air Force, and App State. So I don't know. We're going to figure it out all week. All right, let's do the chats. Then we go to the calls. Let me check out the call lines. Yeah, decent amount, but not full. So I'm going to shut up and get to you guys. Tom, our offense is now number 11. Thanks, CJ. Now number 2 in QBR. Manning is 70th with all the IPA. Yeah, give me CJ Carr. He's playing. It's my favorite line of the weekend. CJ Carr carries himself and performs like a 4-year starter, not a 4-game starter. The future is very bright for Notre Dame's offense. SPF also brought up another good point, though. He said, a lot of this offense is around those 2 backs or whatever. Yeah, that's very, very fair and true. And a part of that, that's what makes it frustrating. You're in the position you are. Are you going to be able to maximize the last year you have those 2 backs together? If you don't make the playoff, it's kind of a waste. It's a waste of having Love and Price together with CJ Carr. But you didn't win the games. It's the price you pay. Phil, we got to keep the train rolling one at a time. That's all you could do. I'm glad we came out of the weekend with so many positive. There's at least some hope defensively, and I think that's what people wanted. Rest of the chats, rest of the show for the calls. ND is officially in 1 game at a time mode. That's all you can do. That's all you can do. Franklin stumbled again against top 10 team at home. Aller, 88 QBR. Pribula, who transferred number 25. I've seen a lot of Penn State people talking about, did they double down on the wrong guy and let the right guy leave? Domer guy. Our first 4 opponents all ranked in the top 30 offensively. Boise's ranked higher than any of them at 9th. Okay, there you go. But how much genuflection can I do when you're racking up numbers against Eastern Washington, App State, and Air Force? I don't know how to convert that into Power 4 stuff. Or like big time, I don't know. Not being in a conference, playing a soft schedule is biting Indy in the ass this year. Commander, here's the deal with that. I mean, you did play overall. The schedule isn't tough, but you played 2 top 10 teams in the first 2 games, which is a very, very tough start. Commander would be there. He's mad about the independent schedule, but if you woke up one day and it said Notre Dame joins the Big Ten, Commander's going to be mad Notre Dame caved and sold out and joined the Big Ten. So you can't win with Commander no matter what you do. That's how that would go. That's how that would go. John, the real question is, who do you root for when Indiana travels to Penn State? I like seeing the Penn State home crowd be mad. I'll go with Cignetti on that one. And you know what else I want to credit? I want to credit Cignetti for beating the hell out of Illinois. Like, that's a big battle. Illinois, Indiana, first time they've both been relevant in a long time. Cignetti laid it on them. And then I want to credit Illinois for bouncing right back and beating USC. That's a good little dynamic. Good for Cignetti for beating the hell out of Illinois and proving a point. And great job by Bielema and Illinois to bounce right back and give USC that loss they were begging for. 9 a.m. kick in Champaign, LA time. It was the trappiest trap that was never a trap because it was too obvious of a trap. You know what I'm saying? Domer guy. I have a thought as it pertains to ND and the CFP. Everybody talks about ND doesn't have enough meat on the schedule and how that could hurt them. We do play 10 Power 4 teams. You would have that. You would have that. Burt Reynolds from the grave. The guy returned from the grave just to watch Notre Dame play Arkansas. That's impressive, people. Love seeing all the students leave at halftime. The crowd was so quiet. It was a beautiful, beautiful thing. You know what it reminds me of? Not similarly, because this was a home game. Freeman's first year where we were down and out looking at like 8-4 or whatever, and you beat the hell out of that undefeated 8-0 Clemson team that was ranked 4th. And in third quarter, all the orange was walking down the steps, leaving. It was the most fulfilling feeling to see all that orange leaving Notre Dame Stadium early. It was really, really nice. CJ Carr is a good point. If we had better talent evaluations, we'd be 4-0, 3-1 a minimum, but we don't, especially defensively. It feels like Notre Dame's figuring out who could do what, who can't do what. They're doing a better job of figuring it out. You just can't lose 2 games before you do. Sorry. You just can't. You just can't. So I don't know. This is interesting too, Mark. Is this a WPP quote? How dare Freeman run up the score at an astounding institution such as Arkansas? I'm going to tell you this. I tuned in. I was cooking some chicken yesterday, and I had my earbuds in, and I was watching a Arkansas post-game show, live stream. The guy that walks and talks, if you look it up, you'll see him, and he does a really, really honest, good job covering Arkansas. And in the chat, I wrote something asking about their coaching search, what sort of resources they have to offer to draw a top name or whatever. And I was a little surprised by the reaction from the Arkansas people when I started chatting in their live stream. Rather than being like, you're a Notre Dame guy, get out of here, we don't want you in our stream or whatever. They were all thanking me for putting the final nail in the coffin and getting Pittman out of here. It was a very honest, intelligent reaction from the Arkansas fans when I was expecting, we don't want your kind here. We don't like your kind around here. I was expecting some of that. Get the hell out of here. This is our misery. We don't need you chirping. All those comments were, always Irish. Thanks for you guys doing this so we could get on with whatever comes next because we knew this was never going to work. I thought that was very mature of their fan base because I've been there. I've been in Notre Dame Stadium rooting for Notre Dame to lose because I knew like the Charlie Weiss era was over. It had no chance to succeed. The last thing I wanted was for him to win just enough games that somebody buys into bringing him back another year when you knew the recruiting was dead and you had no chance. The best thing for the program in that moment, while it hurt me, was to hope Notre Dame lost to give us the hope for the future. And it's the worst spot to be as a fan to root against your team. But having them win one middle-of-the-road game when your season's already over that may give you another year of a failing coach doesn't do anything. Doesn't do anything. So I was impressed with the Arkansas fans' candor on that. Couple super chats, then the calls. Rotate, $5 hour. We didn't beat Arkansas. They got humiliated in front of a sellout crowd so they could get rid of the coach. The joke's on us. I'll take it. $2 hour for Rodney. Pattern recognition is the new trendy phrase. That sounds fancy. Sounds intellectual. Renee, my main man, $5 hour. Yo, always Irish family. These pretzels are making me thirsty. Beat Boise. What kind of pretzels you working with? Rolled gold or what? A little, what is it? Orphan Annie's or whatever at the mall. They got them soft pretzels or Orphan Annie's or something. The Ohio Pod, $5 hour. What's up with all these early season firings? Is it an NIL effect? I don't know, man. I don't know. Eric, it's good to see you, buddy. $20 hour from another Eric, my lawyer in Michigan. I've been watching ND football since 75. Best ND offense I've seen. Yeah, the only problem is Can the defense do their part? $5 ski foot super sticker. It is the most Notre Dame-iest thing of all time. Right when you get an offense, people start to actually be happy with it. You can run it and you can throw it and you have a good quarterback. Right when you get that offense where we've all been begging for it to be for 30, and then the defense regresses and it's like your hairline. It's the most Notre Dame-iest thing of all time. That right when the offense gets really exciting, the defense regresses. You can't count on them. It's so Notre Dame that it makes you want to Ralph, bro. $20 holler from my lawyer. What I want to know is, anything changed with the defensive coaching? Does Chris spit it out, idiot? Does Chris Ash still have 100% of the same duties as before? That's a good question for behind the scenes that I don't have the answer for. I've heard rumors about it, but I don't know the answer. Callahan, $5 holler. I expect electric crowds the rest of the way. Props to Illinois. That was a hard-fought game. And the problem with that, Illinois, listen, let's be honest about this. Everyone doing live post-game shows in college football this weekend in the middle game window had low viewership because there were too many good games on. It's the lowest numbers I've had for a post-game show since I started doing this because there were so many good games. And I thought it's a problem with me. When you look around, everybody had that because the schedule was just too good. So it's like, I'll watch John's post-game later on the replay. I got to watch these games. So I didn't even get to see the end of the Illinois USC game because I was here. John Daly. Ooh, he's in a suit. Ooh, looking sharp. $10 holler. The most insufferable fan base ever is the team that plays in Happy Valley. Yeah, I'm down with Indiana. I'm rooting for Illinois. Andrew Gilmore, Illinois screwed us. We needed USC undefeated. I'm not sure they're going to beat Michigan at home, Andrew. I am not sure I'm not sure they're going to do that because people can't watch on their phones. John, I don't know. That's hard. Sometimes I just want to watch a game with no distractions. There are times I'll put a game on mute and then listen to a live stream or a podcast, but like sometimes you want to hear that crowd and be involved. I just noticed across all those post-game shows, everybody had a low week. And I just think it's because for once you had a loaded schedule with games everybody wanted to see. So I don't know. Whatever, man. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm losing my touch. I don't know. Okay. If you are on hold, you are going to be on the air. Let's start with Rodney. What's going on, buddy? Welcome.
Hey, John, what's up, buddy?
You know what, Rodney? I'm saying this is the best vibe and energy there's been around the Notre Dame program since before Miami. You at least feel like you have a little momentum and confidence now, and you're on a winning streak for whatever that's worth. Do you agree?
Well, I not only agree, John, I know I've left some cryptic $2 chats last couple of days. I mentioned maybe we should get used to this, and then I said pattern recognition. There was something I saw the other day on a YouTube. It was Andrew Tate, I think, and was talking about pattern recognition, and it got me thinking about Notre Dame football. I'm gonna go off a little bit on our chat. Can I do this a little bit? Yeah. I want to bring some people back to reality here because it's really upsetting me that people are pretending like they don't ever watch college football.
All right, enlighten us.
Okay. First of all, I remember Ryan Roberts predicting us to lose against Purdue last year. Okay? What did we do in that game? Completely dominated them. Mike Coffey over on Dome and Domer. Good podcast, by the way. Good guys on there.
You know what?
Predicted Arkansas
time out,
to win.
Rodney. Time out, Rodney. I want to say this. Dome and Domer was the first Notre Dame podcast that ever existed about 22 years ago, like literally 20 years ago. And those are the guys, one of them that's behind the ND Nation website as well. They are some of the pioneers of this. It was the first and only podcast that existed 15, 20 years ago covering Notre Dame. And they came up with that ND Nation website that pulls all the articles into one spot every day. Those guys were pioneers.
Yeah, it's like
I always respect them. I always respect them.
Yeah, Indy Nation's like the Rotten Tomatoes of college of Notre Dame football.
Yeah,
like the amalgamation of all the articles.
Yeah, just a side note on those guys, because I do, they were the trailblazers of that 15, 20, 25 years ago, whatever. Go ahead.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've been listening to them for a long time, man. I think they found their podcast like 10 years ago. And yeah, good guys, man, first of all. But my point is, Coffee, the one who started the Indy Nation website, predicted Arkansas to win yesterday, 38-35. And it got me thinking, and then I was reading things in chat. No way, Notre Dame's 10-2 and finishes in playoffs with this and this and the other. Are we pretending like we haven't seen how college football unfolds over a season? That just everything that looks above us is going to stay that way? Don't even get me started on Penn State. I'm about to get to them in a second. But listen, man, there is a scenario where Notre Dame is 10-2 at the end and does get left out. I will give you that. There is a scenario where that happens, where certain things happen a certain way. We just get left out. We can feel really good about the team we were still.
And you know what?
Rodney? I think it's far more likely, John.
I don't even think I would complain about it that much, unless a team that really sucks get in above you. You kind of earned it. If you start 0-2, you get what you get if you're Notre Dame. I don't even think we could complain if you did get left out, unless there's something really egregious with somebody else getting in over you.
But to pretend like there's no way we get in, who do you think you are as a college football fan? You're freaking Nostradamus. You can predict that. Are you kidding me, man? You're telling me there's no chance at all that Penn State won't lose another game? You're telling me there's no chance that LSU won't drop another? There's no, or 2 or 3. Are you kidding me? And you're telling me, here's the other thing. This is what really burns me, John. You're saying at the top of it, they won't leave Notre Dame out because of brand recognition. Forget brand recognition. Let's talk about recency bias here. Notre Dame showed what they did when they got into the playoffs, okay? Freeman's starting to show what kind of coach he is. Forget what happened 2 games ago. I'm just saying, with your eyes, you're telling me you want to keep an offense like CJ Carr, Jeremiah Love, Jadarian Price, Malachi Fields, Jordan Faison, and I'm sorry, I'm going to call it the new catchphrase, the Notre Dame offensive line, the shield. The shield, man, because they built a fortress around. And they're only going to get better and better. And I do believe the defense will not reach the levels it did the last 2 years, John. But I think what we can maybe kind of look at as a possible similarity is like Freeman's defense the first year that he had him as a defensive coordinator when they played really bad for the first few games. They started to get it, and by the end, they were kicking butt. Okay, I kind of think it's going to go in that direction. So just the eye test, are you telling me, assuming that this happens the way the pattern recognition has showed us under Freeman, especially these last couple of years, now he's gotten his, learned how to coach, does this not feel like a team that's going to get better? And then, again, they could lose another one, John. They could, absolutely. Something really bad could happen. But barring anything like that, what I saw yesterday from this team was like, okay, I'm now, with my eyes, I'm just saying with my eyes, assuming that it's somewhat like last year, let's say, just in terms of the growth of the team. Forget wins and losses, just the growth of the team. You're telling me by year's end, that's not one of the 10 best teams in the country? Are you kidding me? Now, again, we got a long way to go. And the fun of it should be watching it unfold week after week. We're already in the playoffs right now. Why we're looking ahead, we're going to be, I get it's fun to talk about. I get it. But guys, don't pretend like Notre Dame can't get there. That's ridiculous. And don't pretend other teams aren't going to find ways to lose. And let's talk about Penn State, for God's sake, man. Okay, should they still be ranked ahead of us? Sure they should, because they only have one loss. But how much do you want to bet Penn State loses another one, whatever it be, Ohio State or whomever, and they're still going to rank them in the top 15, yet we lose and we drop you know what I'm saying? John, what have they done that gets them so much national respect? It burns me, man. I'm not saying they're a bad team. They almost pulled that one out last night. But they found a way to lose it, very similar to the way they find ways to lose other games, and yet they get so much national cred for that. And yet they can play these cream puffs. They don't get penalized. Oh, but for God's sake, we go 0-2. Sure, we went 0-2. That sucks. But we played 2 teams that look right now to be among the top 6 teams in the country. So I'm just trying to look at this from a reality standpoint, man. Let's take a step back and let's look at it for real. Stop being pessimistic just for the sake of getting views or, oh, look what I said. Look at the statement I just made. Like, dude, there is a much more likely chance and again, let's have fun seeing this unfold. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. But if we're 10-2, I have a hard time seeing Notre Dame left out because of the eye test. Because it's like, it reminds me, if old school Notre Dame fans, John, you'll get this. The 2002 USC team, Carson Palmer's team, that team finished 10-2. They started out really shaky, and then they just started beating the crap out of people. Okay, and I think they did play Notre Dame at that point at the end of the year, a very overrated number 7 ranked Notre Dame team that then fell apart under Willingham. But my point is that team finished number 4 in the country. This team feels kind of like that. Again, we will see. But man, you think the eye test is something we're forgetting about all this, man. You can see on the field, analysts can see on the field what kind of team you have. And with that talent we have, if it starts to blossom the way we think and the way it's starting to look like, don't be a bit surprised, man, if they're right in the middle of that playoff. But it may not even be they may not even be as far away from 12 as we think. It could be by the end we're 7th or 8th, for God's sake, if we're playing that good, because other teams are going to beat themselves up. I don't see, maybe Ohio State, maybe Miami, maybe Indiana's really good and they went, until they play whoever, Penn State or whomever. But the point is, there's going to be a lot of teams with 2-3 losses. They're just going to keep beating themselves up. We just got to keep looking like we did this last week.
Yeah,
I think I'll leave you with that, man.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. And every time you think, oh, this team out of us isn't going to lose, or that team's probably not going to lose, there's always game results that surprise you and shock you. And I just think with the Big Ten and the SEC built the way they are now, there's a lot of good on good that are going to end up matching up. And you got to just hope they beat each other out, and you got to get to 10. And then you got to see if your 10 is better than another team's 10. And I don't know, but I do know you put yourself in a bad spot right away and you have to deal with the consequences of that.
Oh, sure we did.
And if you miss out at 10-2, you have no one to blame but yourself for handing over the A&M game. I think Miami earned that damn win over Notre Dame, but we gave A&M one, and it really, really hurts. Rodney, I like the philosophy here on a Monday morning.
Well, yeah, John, what I'm trying to say, let's just let that play out. Let's see. Like I said, there's a scenario we get left out at 10-2, but it'll probably be because we literally deserve to be left out at 10-2. I don't buy for one second that if we're playing like we did this last week and we're just looking like a juggernaut offensively, and the defense keeps getting better, that you can't tell me that by the year end, there's more chance than likely that we'll be in. Okay, we'll probably get in if that's a big if. But Freeman's shown in the past, in the last few years, his teams, look at the difference between Arkansas was 2-2 heading in that game. We were 1-2. And yet what team looks like they're trending and what team looks obviously isn't? I mean, Freeman has kind of shown this before. Doesn't mean we won't have another pitfall somewhere. Although, anyway, we'll see what happens. Let's just have fun watching this unfold.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. All you could do is win one every week and see where you fall. Rodney, thanks for starting us off, man. Have a good Monday.
You too, buddy.
Later. The funniest thing Rodney did was call after the A&M loss, and he was totally sober and was like, this is weird. I'm doing this late night sober after a big loss. Like, it was hilarious. It was just the maturity here. We're growing. Big schnoz 713. 10-2 is probably an underachieving result. Sorry, great teams don't make those mistakes. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Now, I will say this, though. It's not just who you play, but it's when you play them. If Notre Dame started out with Penn State's schedule, they could make those mistakes and still win those games and round into form before a big game. When you play at Miami and A&M to start, you don't have any wiggle room. You got to win those games. It's real tough. And if you don't, you get what you get. And And Notre Dame lost. They deserve those losses. And great teams don't make those mistakes. Absolutely. Correct. The question, though, is, Big Schnoz, the question is, can Notre Dame end the year, if they're not really great, being really good? Like from the first 2 games, yeah, great team. You weren't great. How much better can you get throughout the end of the year? And a lot of that has to do with the defense. I disagree. If we schedule the big games early and we lose, it means only room to grow afterwards. But you can grow from an ugly win against Central Michigan or whatever, where you make a bunch of mistakes without losing and putting yourself behind the 8 ball. It's not like if you win, there's nowhere to grow. You don't need to lose to grow. You can grow from wins. You don't need to lose to grow. But what do I know? 574, what's going on? South Bend, Indiana call. What's up?
Good morning, John. How's your day going so far?
It's going very well. I would say, given the spot Notre Dame found themselves in, they had about as good of a weekend as you could have. You could debate whether we should have wanted USC to win or lose, but overall, Notre Dame had a good of weekend as you could have.
Yeah, you have a good point. So this weekend, I know many of us don't want to hear it, and a lot of us will probably pretend this game doesn't exist in our mind. But we might need to cheer for USC to beat Michigan.
Hey,
even though we've all meteor would just hit elbow at the same time as that game starts.
I mean, I get it. I just don't. Yeah, I am so much more worried about Notre Dame being able to even run this out than I'm worrying about other teams' record right now. Does that make sense? Like, I get what we're looking at of how to make our schedule look good or whatever, but I am so much more worried about Notre Dame's ability to not lose again than I'm worried about everybody else winning or losing to bump our schedule up. Like, I just think we have our own problems before I worry about all that.
I just want it to be a good game to be start, because we still don't know if this rivalry is going to stay where it is or get moved after this year. And if this game's potentially going to be gone, I want Notre Dame to win the last stand game, and I don't care where it's played.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. That's a very fair point. Yeah, it's and again, man, USC's got Michigan goes to the Coliseum. One of the USC podcasts said that game's already sold out. I'll believe it when I see it. Who bought all the seats? A bunch of surfboards? I'll believe it when I see it that they fill that place for the Michigan game. I don't believe it. I think half of them are going to be surfboard cutouts and beach balls in them seats.
Guarantee you right now, if that game is sold out, it's probably going to be Michigan fans.
Yeah, taking a trip to LA. Yeah, so I don't know, but I just, Notre Dame beats the hell out of Arkansas, and then all the articles and podcasts are like, oh, Notre Dame back in playoff position, and look at the odds or whatever. One of those predictor things on ESPN or somewhere had Notre Dame with the 8th best chance to make the playoff. I don't know what equation you use, but I have a hard time believing that. It's somebody sent me that, and they said number 8 likelihood to make the playoff is Notre Dame. That blows my mind. Who's doing the equation? A leprechaun?
Well, you got to think of how many of these big brands, they still have to fight each other. You still have Texas A&M that has to play against LSU. You still have LSU has to play Alabama, and then you also have to factor in who else does everybody else play. I mean, I'm pretty sure Ole Miss still has to. I think they have to play Georgia. I haven't looked at their schedule, but all the big teams have to play each other eventually. And I'll be real with you. I'm pretty sure that if Penn State's not careful, if they go 9-3, yeah, that with a loaded roster that they brought in with their transfer portal, all those wide receivers, they said, "Oh, the offense is fixed. This team is a national championship here." No. All those weapons, 3 practice games before that Oregon game, and that's the game you give out.
Yep.
And you want to talk about having their best offensive roster, Drew Aller, senior year, Heisman candidate, best backfield in college football. Where was that?
Yeah.
I'll tell you where it was.
Ooh.
I'll tell you where it was. Overhyped.
Look
That's
at
what it was. The coach has a history of never showing up.
We got the bingo card from August, mentions James Franklin's big game record. You could cross that off on your morning bingo. We hit it today, folks. So this is just a weird place to be in, man. And I just think you're getting all of this playoff talk with Notre Dame just because people need any spark to feel better about the 0-2 start. And now that you're clinging to 10-2 and maybe that's enough to get in, that is the light at the end of the tunnel. But it is asking a lot of this Notre Dame team to run the table after a brutal early loss again in back-to-back years. The odds don't favor it. Everybody's got to understand that. The numbers don't favor. 2 years in a row, you're in September with your back against the wall and you don't lose again. Maybe Notre Dame does it, but man, you're putting a lot of stress on yourself. A lot.
I'll tell you this right now is the team already did it last year, and now you've got new players. And CJ Carr is the leader he is right now for 4 games, which I said since last year that the kid was a hell of a leader, and he was only a freshman.
Yeah, it's.
I'm going to say it again, John. The kid works harder than anybody I have seen in a Notre Dame uniform in a long time.
Yeah, he plays like a 4-year starter, not a 4-game starter. In the big difference to me is Notre Dame can now throw the ball a little bit. It changes the defensive equation when you're playing Notre Dame. No longer can you go, we love their run game. We just need to sell out to stop and take our chances on 3rd and long with the tight end up the seam or over the middle on a crosser. That is over. Notre Dame now can burn you through the air or the ground. And that is a huge difference. It opens so much up for Notre Dame. It's a whole different world now.
Yep, and it's going to be so easy for Notre Dame to sell tickets, to sell a game where your offense is good and not your defense. I wish I had a good defense. I'm not saying that, but I am saying that tickets sell faster if your offense is a lot more exciting than it has been in the last 5 years.
Yeah, it's the kind of offense we've always been wanting and hoping for and whatever. And then the irony is the most Notre Dame-iest thing ever, right? When you start to get that offense, you have defensive regression concerns. It is the most Notre Dame narrative of all time. Right when you get an offense you really start to love, the defense falls off. What do you make of that part of it? That's my next question. How much of a believer are you in this defense getting things corrected with what they did against a 44-point a game averaging team in Arkansas? What do you think the reality is?
I still need to see a little bit more. I'm still on the train that Chris Ash is not the answer, because you could tell after that week 2. Actually, no, sorry. After the half against Purdue, the tone of the defense has changed. If you look at what has happened since that half, Notre Dame's defense has only allowed 20 points, John.
Yeah.
Total.
Yeah.
Ever since that half. Freeman could say whatever he wants to the podium saying, I didn't change. I haven't changed anything. Bullshit. After that half, why on earth has the tone of the defense have been better? Yes, I don't disagree. The stats haven't changed a little, but you have to admit there's been less points put up, and there's something did change.
Yeah, it's and everybody has those thoughts, and there's all those rumors, and I don't know what the truth is. I hear, Ash isn't in charge of things. He's kicked behind the scene, blah, 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 blah. I don't know. I don't know the reality of that, but all I know is that was a performance you could build on and the defense can have confidence in. And that is something they needed. They needed something to really build their confidence. And even a win against Purdue when you give up 30 doesn't quite do that the way this did. And I'm hoping they can build off it and gain momentum. And also we have to mention, you didn't have Leonard Moore out there. You put together that performance. You didn't even have your best guy back there. We got to keep that in mind too.
I think we're underselling, though, Devontae Smith as Nickelback, because having him back, I thought, was very helpful for this defense.
Yeah.
Because he's very quick, unique wide receivers that try to do cuts. He's very good at stopping that or pressuring it a little bit better. And Tay Johnson, give him some more experience in the safety position. I think that he will be very, very good soon.
Yep. And so I don't know. You're trending in the right direction. You gotta win one game a week and just see where you fall. Take it one at a time. Anything else, man? Good call on a Monday.
Oh, absolutely. So I'm going to leave you off with a question here. What starting Notre Dame player has the easiest job on this team since the last 2 games?
The punter.
Yep.
Yeah.
He suited up
Yeah.
and sat on the bench
Yeah.
and hasn't played since.
Bro, what a good NIL deal that is. Like, you don't even, you play one game a week, and even in that game, you don't have to do nothing. What a great NIL deal for Rendell.
I mean, take it, man. You got the best seat in the house. You just suit up.
Yeah.
Hey, if your name's called, go out there. But he's had the easiest job. Man, that's what CJ Carr should have said to the punter after the second game. You won't be punting much.
Yeah, and it's like, if I'm Rendell, I'm going, do I even have to go out there for the fake? I'm out there and I don't even get my play. Like, it's a good problem to have. Good trivia question, good problem to have. Hey, enjoy a beautiful Monday in South Bend, my friend.
You too, John. You have yourself a great day, and I hope this Boise State game is as electric as a green game can be.
Yep, we will see. And the other thing to keep in mind is, I know I'm questioning their offensive stats against Eastern Washington Air Force and I believe App State. Never forget this, though. Boise isn't going to lay down for anyone. That is not in the DNA of that program. Boise isn't going to roll over or lay down for anybody. They made their name in college football by beating bigger brand names, and they are never going to roll over for anybody. They're not going to care rolling into Notre Dame Stadium. None of that. You're going to have to go earn that win. Kenny Mitch, stop worrying about Kelly and Penn State. ND wheels are off and bouncing down the street. Indiana, listen. The Arkansas game was the determining factor of whether or not the train was going to stay on the tracks or totally go off the rails to a 4, 5, 6 loss season. Once those first 2 nightmares happened, Arkansas was that next tipping point of, are you going to be able to pull this thing together or is it totally going to derail? And you pulled it together. So the wheels are a little rickety still after 0-2, but you're not off the cliff like the O'Doyle Rules family and Billy Madison. I mean, you ain't driving the station wagon off the cliff yet. Son of a buck. I mean, dang. Dude, I think about this all the time. Down pat. The best version of James Franklin was the Key and Peele. 100%. It's totally hilarious. The guy looked just like him when they did that at the spring game. The way he ran across the field, he looked just like him. And the other thing is, Coach Hines from Mad TV is one of my all-time favorite, skits of all time. And if you're too young to remember it, when the show's over, YouTube, Coach Hines, Mad TV, and you'll see what I mean. I have loved that guy since the early 90s. When he did Coach Hines, and it was just so hysterically bizarre and hilarious. I've loved him ever since. That's the only time I've ever liked James Franklin, is when it's an actor playing James Franklin. Oh, man, that's funny. Chicago's very own Tom Frawley. Good morning, sir.
What do you know there, John? It's a great day here. We got another day up above ground, and things are looking a little more rosy than they were in the last couple of weeks.
Now, I know things are looking good for you because your high school team won, your college team won, and the Bears won. That's about as good. That's as good as it gets for a weekend around here.
Yeah,
good for you. Good for you.
Yeah, we got a trifecta this week. But anyway, I rewatched the game last night, and I was able to slow down the video. I could see some things. First of all, it's not sexy to talk about the offensive lineman, but boy, Billy Schrouther's playing like an All-American. Not great. He wasn't playing against Ohio State on Saturday. Oh my God. When his first step, especially on run blocking, when he gets downhill, he's a beast inside there. Kirby Lambert is really stepping up. His footwork, it looks like Lambert and Wagner. It looks like they labor to walk to and from the huddle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're big lumbering men, but boy, when they get behind that, and their pass protection. Now, even that, the pass pro, CJ had a pocket all game, right? So I know they're not playing world beaters, right? That's a horrific defense, but they're still D1 athletes, right? And so there was the incremental change that we wanted to see with our offense, right? So on the defensive side of the ball, I mean, my God, Tay Johnson, he is fun to watch. So I hearken back to the preseason press conference when one of the media asked Marcus Freeman about Johnson, and he just glowed. He couldn't wait. You know, he said, Tay, I remember what he said. He said, oh, that Tay, he thinks he can play every play. He wants to do it. And I'm telling you, now that you've got a quarterback like CJ Carr and a free safety like that becomes the nucleus for your national championship run next year. Okay? That when you've got that kind of talent that's on both sides of the ball, and then you look at Zachary. Zachary must have got coached up in the last 2 weeks, because when he comes in to tackle somebody, he doesn't screw around. He gets himself in a fundamental position, and he's not afraid to lay the lumber. Now, here's what I was talking about on Friday and after the game. We saw that incremental change in the defense. Are they world beaters? No, they're not. But you've got that young talent. Here's what you do as a coach, right? You go in and you just give them their keys on defense. If the offense lines up in trips, here's where you need to be. If you see them go doubles, just based on whatever formation there are, you give the young defensive back, here's your keys, right? And whoever the quarterback is back there, which should be Adon Schuler, he's got to make sure their assignment sound, and then we got to fix the Drake Bowen thing. I'm sorry. It's so glaring when you go see the All-22 this week. He couldn't cover your mother in a 12-yard out. They just get behind him so fast, and he doesn't get to the gap on a running play. He sits there and he waits. He's got to be able to react. I'm sure he's a great kid. But it's glaring. And every offensive coordinator in the country, even a quarterback, can see that. They can see where he's cheating. I'm rewatching the game right now, and that quarterback from Arkansas was basically, he was pimping Drake Bowen that whole game until they took him out. I don't understand that. So that boils down to the trust factor, right? Do you put the freshman in on the defensive side of the ball? And at some point, just like we saw Saturday, these defensive coaches, they've already said to themselves, you know what, we got to let our big dogs hunt. We've got to put the best athletes on there. They're going to make mistakes. Yes, but that's why you keep the defensive schemes, keep them. You don't have to do anything exotic. Make sure that they're sound on their assignments, and they play fundamental football, and then let them play loosely. You want a defense that's running around, getting to the ball. I mean, if you go back and look at the Miami game, and you see how Miami was gang tackling us, that's what you need to see. I watched the Alabama-Georgia game. They're not the greatest defenses in the world, but boy, did they get there, and they get there quickly, and they get there in a bad mood. Ohio State, that is a great defense. I mean, Oregon, good defense. So you see where they need to go. And unfortunately, we are going to have to use the freshmen. The underclassmen are going to have to play. And as long as they're hustling and they play sound fundamental football, I'm okay with that.
So
I'll take my chances.
Tom, let me ask you.
Especially with this offense.
Let me ask you this. How much confidence did you gain in the Notre Dame defensive effort against Arkansas? Like, is it just a thread of, is it a thread of hope? Are you fully like believing they got it figured out? Or is it like, this is one incremental step in the right direction? Now show me you can back it up with another good performance against Boise. And now we're talking. Like, where are you at with you? Everybody in Notre Dame land's got to feel way, way better about it. But how much better? What do you think the truth is there?
Well, the truth is closer. I mean, it will boil down to, all right, can you put another week together? So, all right, you get the defense together, and you got to be in it. So, so I don't know if you heard this, but I listened to Marcus Freeman's pregame radio interview that Tony Simeone did, and he talked about the tough meeting rooms. They had some really hard meetings last week, especially on the defensive side of the ball. So what does that tell you? I mean, he didn't go into detail, but evidently it just looks to me like Marcus Freeman and Mickens and actually took over that part of the defense. I could be wrong, but it just, the kids are confused running that zone. We saw that in the first 3 games. That they weren't confused on Saturday. So there's the incremental change, plus the personnel changes. So if you look at the defensive line, right? Armel Mookum, Elijah Hayes, I mean, Jordan Bothello, they were whipping these guys in there. And I'm telling you, Cole Mullins is another one that showed up, made some big plays. So all of a sudden, now you're starting to see a chemistry build. So that's the incremental change. Now you take that into Boise State, and then you got here. Next week is the championship. It's not the playoffs. Next week, Saturday is the championship, because you got to get ready for the University of Spoiled Children and that big quarterback that can throw the football.
Yeah,
that's a good football team. I don't care what anybody says, but we're going to be able to score on them. So that could be another shootout. But that's when you want your defense to. So it's, we're another full week of having these young kids understand what gap sound is, understand what assignment sound is. And then once they get that confidence, then they can rock and roll. Then they can start to play a little more loosely and go in there and separate the ball carrier from the ball. Yeah. That's what they need to do. Yeah. I see it coming. I just hope that it is, because once I saw that energy on the defensive line, they're not getting pushed around. They started to play in the right gaps. There's all kinds of things. It'll bear out in the all-22. Those guys will see a lot more than I was able to see.
Yeah, it's a good start. You had to start building some momentum somewhere, and doing it against that offense and that quarterback, it's a good start. Now you come home, like it's something to build off of. And you could say the bar was low, and that's because the bar was low. I was expecting the worst from the defense, and they outperformed even my high-end expectations. And you got something to build off of. Tom, thanks a lot for hitting me up on a Monday morning. All your teams won. You could strut around Chicago with your shoulders high. You know what I mean?
It doesn't happen that much, John. So
yeah,
you know what? You got to take the victory lap when you can. All right, guys.
Have a good one. Always good hearing from you, Tom. God, that guy's Notre Dame energy. I want to address this. Then we'll go back to the calls from Kent. How the heck, as prestigious football program as Notre Dame is, how can an Arkansas team that beat Alabama, A&M, and Arkansas State be the deciding factor for Notre Dame's season? Kent, I have a really honest answer to that. Notre Dame's defense was so bad early in the year that getting boat raced by Arkansas because the defense can't play competent football was on the table. I'm being honest, Kent. I'm totally being honest. It is pathetic that I was in a position saying the Arkansas result's going to determine whether you're off the rails or keep this thing and have a chance of putting up a decent year. It's sad. It's embarrassing. It's a low bar, but it's the one I entered the Arkansas game on, saying this defense may get us in trouble in this game. I'm sorry. It was a low bar to clear, but the defense had me in a bad spot, bro. Defense had me in a very, very bad spot entering that game. And it's an embarrassing place to be. But I'm just telling you, that's where we're at. City cheers. Every dollar matters when you run a club, bar, restaurant, or country club. Lost tabs, slow payments, and walkouts cut into your profits fast. That's why venues trust the City Cheers app. With City Cheers, guests can receive promo details for your upcoming events and open and close their tabs right from their phones. Payments are instant, your walkouts will drop, and your team saves time with fewer card runs and less hassle for everybody involved. Managers get real-time reporting and transaction tracking so you know exactly what's happening on the floor from sales to staff performance. Servers can handle more tables with less effort, boosting check averages and increasing their tips. And when your staff works smarter, not harder, morale goes up, service speeds up, and turnover goes down, creating a smoother, more profitable operation every single night. Protect your profits, empower your team, and simplify your business with City Cheers. This app is built for venues that want to win. So if you're ready to take your business to the next level, call friend of the show and loyal Notre Dame son, Tom Frawley, at 773-332-7742 today. Be sure to tell him Always Irish sent you. Chicago's very own. Okay, this is going to surprise people. And then back to the calls. This will shock you guys. Meatloaf or ribeye tonight? I'm going to tell you this. As picky as I am with food, I could get down with a good meatloaf, a loaf of French bread, and like some mashed potatoes. But the meatloaf can't have a bunch of weird stuff in it. It needs to mostly be a loaf of meat. It can't have all sorts of weird garden inside of it. If you just keep it meat, and I mean steak, so that's out of the discussion. It's a piece of meat, steak, that's good. I'm not saying I'd pick that over meatloaf. I just think you guys would be surprised to know I'll eat a meatloaf if it's mostly a hunk of meat, not with the salad poking out of inside. Ma, the meatloaf! I just wanted to do that. I just wanted to set up a reason to do that. But it can't have a bunch of garden looking out of it and all that stuff. It's got to be legit. Okay, how about this? How about we take a call from Arkansas, 479 on the line. What's going on, buddy?
John, it's Nate from Arkansas, man. How you doing?
I'm doing very, very well. Notre Dame's got a little momentum. You're on a little winning streak. Some teams we don't like lost. It was a good Notre Dame weekend, man.
Hey, Johnny, Saturday was one of the top days of my life.
Ooh, of your life. Walk us through the details of that. That's heavy praise for the weekend.
So I needed this win so my kids wouldn't be getting bullied at school. You know, we've heard all about, SEC and this and that, basically our whole lives. And I'll tell you, we got to the stadium and the crowd was full. The crowd was rowdy. When they went down and scored and we kind of had some mishaps on that first drive, it seemed like the crowd might be a factor. But Notre Dame shut them down real quick. That first 3 and out in the first quarter after the field goal was huge because that quieted the crowd. Notre Dame went down and scored, and honestly, at that point, the crowd was pretty much out of it. They were sitting down. It was not your typical SEC environment, and man, Notre Dame played incredible.
Yeah, you needed to.
It was a great day for Irish.
Yeah, there were problems at Arkansas. The whole week leading into the game was about Pittman's future and if Petrino was going to do a wheelie right into the main chair, like all this drama and all that. Notre Dame needed to give them a reason to quit, and eventually you did enough by halftime that they did give up.
They did. When they fumbled right there before Price's touchdown on the screen, the fans were actually pouring out as Price scored on that screen. And some people thought, oh, maybe they're leaving for halftime, but no, they were headed for the exits. You could see them pouring out of the exits. And Arkansas was done at that point. I have 3 takeaways that I saw in person that I couldn't see on the TV copy. I rewatched the TV copy, but from being there in person, I got 3 takeaways I want to share with you and see what you think. Okay. Number 1, this game, the defense was much more violent and much more fast. There were plays where they weren't in the right position, and maybe they still didn't know exactly what they were doing, but they played fast. And when they arrived at the ball, they arrived there violent.
All right, let's do one at a time because I'm not smart enough to remember them all. I agree with you. I agree with you. It looked like defensively they were flying around and hitting a little more freely than we've seen, which is an indication to me that they were more confident about where they were supposed to be and what they're doing. And that allows you to play more free, fly around, lay some hits on people. I felt like I saw that too.
That's exactly right. It was a totally different from what I had seen on TV the first 3 games. And that alone, even in the first drive when they scored, that alone kind of gave me some confidence that the defense was at least going to be able to slow Arkansas down. I was one that thought Arkansas was going to score a lot. Being here and talking to my buddies, the offense has looked good. And so I think the defense needs a pat on the back, continue to improve, but keep up the violence, keep up the physicality, keep up the speed, number 1. No, are you there, Johnny?
Yeah, I'm there. I was waiting for number 2, so to speak.
Okay. Number 2, you don't see it on the TV, but CJ's rapport and timing with the receivers is unbelievable. He throws the ball, especially with Faison in Fields, before they get out of their break, and once they turn, it is exactly where it needs to be nearly every time. You don't see that a lot of times. A lot of times on a TV copy, it's either wide and you can't see the receiver and the quarterback at the same time. But, man, his rapport, it's incredible. I have not seen that. You didn't see that with Riley. You didn't see that with Jack Cohn. Even seeing those guys in person. His timing, I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah, he is.
I don't know if you saw it when you were at Purdue.
He played like a 4-year starter, not a 4-game starter. It's the kind of quarterback we've been asking for, and it's turning into the kind of offense we've wanted for a long time and never had the capability to have. And the irony is, now that you love that, you got to worry about the defense doing enough. It's like, can Notre Dame ever get every part peaking at the same time? Like, you know what I mean?
It is the Notre Dame fandom existence right there, Johnny.
Yeah, it is. It's the most Notre Dame-iest thing of all time. Together. Yeah, it is. So for CJ Carr, I just he's playing way better than I ever thought he would after 4 games, and you're becoming a little bit of a threat in the pass game that teams have to respect. You love the running backs. The O-line should keep getting better. Like, there's a lot to like. It's a question of, can that defense put it all together and keep it together?
That's right, and that's my number 3 is the weapons that CJ has. If you stop the run, you've got enough weapons now, like legit weapons on the perimeter that CJ is going to eat you alive. And if you drop back and you try to play, more safe to protect the pass, J. Love and Price, they don't need to pancake everybody. They need a hat on a hat, and you can even leave them 1 or 2 in the run game. And I like my chances with them against 1, and I'm not too sad about them even with 2. They are incredible, and so this offense, I think it's just getting rolling because there was stuff on the table that CJ left, guys he missed. You'll probably see it when you watch the film tonight. But things he left on the table. So this offense, man, if anything, it's going to be fun to watch, and the weapons are unlike anything they've had. So that's number 3. That's all I got.
The thing that gets overlooked is when you present even a shred of a downfield passing threat, it changes how defenses have to scheme for you, and it helps the run game. And all Price or Love need are a little 1/2 block and 6 inches, and they're going to make something of it. Like, it is such a big deal to be able to have people worry about Fields and Faison down the field a little bit. All that does is help the running game. Notre Dame, you can't sell out against the run anymore. Carr's good enough to beat you. it's going to open everything up for this offense. So I love your 3 points. I love that you were able to be to the game and enjoy Notre Dame in your area and get this win and be proud. I absolutely love it, man. Great weekend for Notre Dame.
Yep, that's it, man. Thanks, Johnny. Love the show. Take care, buddy.
Have a good one. Call me again. I'm glad some Arkansas people got to go down there. I know Pat was down there having a good time. So, yeah, good weekend for Notre Dame. I'm in a good mood for once. How about another Arkansas? 501. Let's hit the Arkansas. What's going on?
What's up? Let's go Irish. Yeah, man, I went down and met up with Lou Holtz at the little event they had that Friday night, man. And got him to sign a book and got some pictures with him.
Nice. How's Lou holding up, man? He looks old and frail when I see him these days. Is he holding up okay? The guy's getting up there.
Man, he was doing good. The guys that were there with him, he had a personal assistant girl that kind of helped him around, man. But he seemed good, man. It's crazy. You know, I followed Lou my whole life, man. The 88 team is what started me with Notre Dame when I was a kid, man. And like to see Lou in person, man, and like his spirits are so high, dude. The guy, I mean, just to hear him speak, man, like he was talking to me while we were sitting there hanging out, and I was just taken back, bro. Like the dude is what he is. And I mean, he stands for an indie man, if you can say an indie man, dude. I love Lou Holtz, man. And like, he did like a little speech like for the tailgate afterwards. And, you know, he was talking about his love for Arkansas and all of the places he's coached, man, and about the NIL. And I mean, the guy's 100% on it everywhere, man. But
yeah, and you know what?
Just talking to him, man.
Really interesting overlap between his time at Arkansas and Notre Dame. That had to be a very kind of interesting special weekend for him.
Exactly, dude. Like, I think he said this was the second time he was back at a game in Arkansas. And he was wearing his Arkansas gear for the game, bro. But he had like a Notre Dame pin of the Golden Dome on his shirt. My girlfriend was like, all right, okay. But, dude, I mean, it was so great, man. His son, Skip Holtz, was at the game or at the event, too, man. I met him and talked to him. And, you know, dude, it was just, I mean, dude, the guy,
did you ask him how good it felt to get that win against Notre Dame at Notre Dame Stadium a long time ago?
Man, I couldn't even bring it up, man.
Yeah.
I couldn't even bring it up. My only hope with him even being at the game, man, was he's lost these last few, right? We got to get one before, you know? We never know how long he got. You got to leave him out on a Notre Dame victory. But at the same time, man, he coached at Arkansas, so it felt like maybe that curse would go on their side. And I'm like, bro, it was just amazing, man. But like the event was cool. Meeting Holtz was a dream come true, man. And being around a bunch of Notre Dame fans in Arkansas was a trip. You know, I see them here and there, but just to be in droves of them was really cool. But like, man, I got to tell you, man, my little nephew, I've got two nephews. One's an Arkansas fan, one's a Notre Dame fan. And the Notre Dame boy I took to like 10 games, you know. But his dad's local, and his dad called him that morning and was like, bro, are you going to come over and watch the game? And my nephew went into the pit of fire, man. I was like, bro, that's chancy, man. You never know what's going to happen. And he was telling me, like, bro, if my dad starts getting on me, I don't know if I'll be able to control myself. But at the flip side, if we start winning, I don't know if I'll be able to control myself either. So, like, I told him, bro, don't call me until after the game. This kid calls me, man. And, like, the first, like, we answer the phone, and he's like, bro. And I'm like, bro. And we just started laughing for, like, 10 minutes straight. Just like, bro, what a memory, man. He was like, dude, I was at my dad's house watching this, and my boys came through for me. You know what I'm saying? Because we're Arkansas guys, man. So, you know, we live here, man. But he's been a diehard Notre Dame fan, and I started that tradition with him now. You know, I don't have kids, man, but my nephews, I'm going to at least leave one, you know what I'm saying, holding the torch, man. So it was just great, bro.
Yeah.
We needed it, too, you know what I'm saying? But the offense, bro, this is the team we knew we had. Defense, we might have a little problem here or whatever, man. But Cade Johnson is my man, dude. The kid represents the number 9 for Notre Dame. Like, it should be done, bro. That is my man. But offensively, bro, my God, we destroyed them kids, man. We had you could hear the "Let's Go Irish" chant over the entire stadium. We had an SEC team leave their stadium halftime. All of our fans are just enjoying it. I mean, and just see the team just like fire on all cylinders, and they let CJ throw the ball. I mean, I'm like, bro, thank God. Like, couldn't be better, man. And as far as going 10-2 and going to the playoffs, we'll see. You know what I'm saying? I think we have a good chance against everybody, bro. And maybe I think it's going to be a tough game. And they should be ranked when we play them. So that might be a good win. But, bro, we got it going. This is Love's last year. At least we're going to go out, you know, not losing. I mean, dude, at that first get, you wouldn't think we'd be, you know, where we're at now. But, I mean, dude, I'm back on the train, bro. We're there.
Yeah, it was, man, I'm just happy for the local Arkansas Notre Dame fans. This was a rare opportunity for you to be in your area, beat an SEC team. And like, I'm so happy for you guys. We got Notre Dame fans everywhere. I'm happy for the Arkansas Notre Dame crew.
Dude, like Arkansas fans are generally cool. You know what I'm saying? Because we're Notre Dame, man. We're, you know what I'm saying? We're top of the top, cream of the crop. But, you know, and they're kind of like a low school, man. But, you know, we always feel for them because we're local. When we see, like, you know, like, to me, it's not cool to see bad things happen to other people, you know, but like, and winning in a football game, you know, like them firing Pittman. And dude, that sucks for him, man. And then, you know what I'm saying? But you got to do what you got to do in today's world. But, you know what I'm saying? I'm just like, I feel for them, and they're not rude. So it's like hard to just be like, you know,
I get it.
Boasting about it.
Well, but, dude, you know what? I told you, man, feel a little better about it. When I was in one of their live stream chats yesterday, all the Arkansas fans were thanking me, being like, always Irish. Thank you guys. They were like relieved. They're like, thank you for making there be no doubt that this guy had to be fired so we could start over. Like, they were honestly relieved that it happened that way, to make it no question what needed to happen. So, I mean, I guess somebody had to do it. May as well be us.
I know, man. That's another like feather in the cap for us around here. It's just like, I mean, dude, it was so bad. Like, my girlfriend's friends they're diehard Arkansas fans, and they've been through so much. And her mom was like, well, maybe we should switch to Notre Dame fans. And that was right when we lost to NIU. And I was like, well, you know, we do have our problems here and there, but, you know.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's like you feel bad for him, man. But for my nephew, dude, like living in the state, going to work, doing what he does, you know what I'm saying? Every day we got to, you know, hear SEC this, SEC that, whatever. We've been taking care of Georgia. We're taking care of LSU. We're taking care of Arkansas. I mean, dude, let's get Bama. You know what I'm saying? The next one. Let's do it.
I love it, man. Hey, stick around. Call me again just because we don't play Arkansas anymore. I want you to get in the rotation. So keep calling, would you?
Dude. Definitely, man. I was the boy that was needing the anxiety pills last week, man. So I'm off the couch and I'm feeling good. So I got all my superstitious stuff done, dude. I'm getting ready to come up for Navy, super pumped, and let's go Irish.
Let's go, baby. Hey, keep on calling, man. I like your vibe. Smokey Robinson calling from Arkansas. Arkansas Spicoli. I love that guy, dude. I love that guy. I do, in fact, know what you're saying. Slip Mahoney. Armadillo eggs. Ground breakfast sausage wrapped in bacon, smoked, and then crisp cover in favorite barbecues. I know I'm not cultured with food at all, but I've never even heard of eating armadillo eggs. I don't even think I was aware that they lay eggs instead of just like dumping the kid out and it runs around. I don't even understand armadillo eggs. I never would have. I didn't even know that they have real live babies or eggs. I didn't even know they do like a bird dump. What? Right when you need Steve Irwin. I didn't even know armadillos lay eggs, bro. That is news to me. I never even thought of it. Never would have entered my brain to think about. Main man Martinez.
Oh, shit. Johnny. I'm just on the... Hello?
Yo.
Johnny, I was just listening today, but I don't want to kill no one's vibe. I'm listening today, man. Let somebody else think.
All right.
I want to call in when we got boys on the topic, buddy.
Got it.
I'm sorry, I can't listen to. Yeah,
that's okay.
Get somebody else in, Johnny.
Yeah,
everybody on Notre Dame.
I'll put you back in the queue. He still says onward Notre Dame. He's in the middle of I'm serious. I'm worried about these guys that call me from a construction site. You start yelling about the Notre Dame defense, you might get steamrolled. 402, what's going on? Welcome.
Hey, thanks, Sean. Looks like things are turning up. I'm telling you, mark it down. When this team wakes up, it's going to be a totally different ball game. What do you think about that, John?
I think this was the best possible outcome Notre Dame could have asked for. And it isn't even just because you like what the offense did. It's because the defense gave themselves, let alone the fan base, a little bit of hope. And it was a good performance, man. You caught Arkansas where they're in a bad spot as a program, and you fully took advantage. And it was a good job by Notre Dame this week. Really good job. Progress on all fronts. Progress.
I'll tell you what, Carr, that kid is special. Freshman. He's a freshman, right?
He is a redshirt freshman.
Okay. Yeah. As long as he stay healthy and he keeps on this track, he's going to win a Heisman probably next year or the year after. Like, he sticks with it. He's going to be a Heisman winner. He's the best freshman in college right now. It's freaking insane. The kid is a freshman. First 2 games, yeah, he lost only, but he took the offense on his shoulders, like the Greek Titan Atlas, carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders. This kid is phenomenal. A lot of respect for that. And the offensive line is just getting better and better. And they're just a bunch of juniors and sophomores. You guys are going to be a hell of a powerhouse next year. I'm telling you, you guys are looking really good. I'll be tickled right now.
Yeah, it is. It is funny. All of the hype around these young quarterbacks and all the Manning hype and all that. And I know Sayan's winning games at Ohio State and all that. And Dante Moore looked good too, as another young kid. Dante Moore made some clutch throws. But man, I'm telling you, it's hard not to like everything you're seeing from Carr. Played like a 4-year starter, not a 4-game starter. Really impressive.
He's definitely playing like a champion every game he plays on the gridiron. Ain't no question about that. And yeah, like the preseason hype, Arch Manning and Caleb Klubnik were like the biggest, preseason favorites. And now they're just season's not favorites anymore. They just like downgraded really quick. Arch looks like he's doing better, but Cade Klubnik and Clemson, now you want to say a dumpster fire. That's a dumpster fire. And then Tennessee loses to Mississippi State. LSU loses to Ole Miss. I mean, the SEC is shaking up right now. I love seeing that, though. I don't like the SEC, but it's kind of cool seeing the chaos imploding in their own conference.
Yeah, it's really going to be interesting as the year goes on to watch some of these teams in the Big Ten and the SEC beat each other up. It's just when you have these conferences that overlap so much now, like you're going to end up with some really interesting results. So you talked about the Notre Dame offense. Can I ask you what you think of the Notre Dame defense? Clearly a step in the right direction against Arkansas, but is it sustainable or do you see a lot of areas of concern still?
Well, definitely one area they can start at is starting off fast. Like that was the biggest topic of the first few weeks. Notre Dame's got to stop with these sluggish starts, and yeah, that's absolutely. They start doing that, they're going to be more proficient in winning. They're going to increase their odds real quickly. Defense, they played with a different tone. They played. I saw a significant difference. They don't look lethargic. They don't look like that transitional period between Al Golden's defense to Chris Ash's defense. I think it's starting to mature, and that's just what we're seeing. I'm hoping that they get it all together because USC might be the toughest offense that you're going to go up against because they can run the ball, and Tom Foley is correct that they know how to pass. And, USC is a big game. A lot of people don't know it. Don't sleep on that game. I'm telling you, it's going to be big, when that game happens.
Yeah,
defense.
Let's see. I want to see Notre Dame beat Boise, beat NC State, both games at home. And then I really want to see how USC performs against the Michigan when Michigan comes to LA. Really, it's an interesting path still for both teams before they meet. It'll be a big game if Notre Dame could get through that game and get to the bye. 10-2 looks realistic when you're looking at the back part of that schedule. But you got a long way to go to get there.
Yeah.
I want to point one more thing out, and I'll get off. You know, I've been doing pretty good on time recently. You know.
Yeah, thank you.
So one thing I do want. Yeah, I love you guys. You guys are good. You know, you guys have been fair fans. Yeah, I'm a Buckeye fan. You give me crap, but that comes with the fandom. You know, it's all good in love and war. So one thing I do want to point out, though, so when the first 2 weeks you're saying, you know, first to worst defense and not, you know, and the stats are looking like you guys are the worst defense in certain categories. Well, you guys did play a very tough opening. 2 ranked teams, top 10. One of them is right off the get-go, hostile territory, and then you go off to lose to A&M, and by those 2 games, 4 points. You guys weren't really that far behind. It was just that it was so tough, especially when you're transitioning to a new scheme and defense. You know, that right there is kind of thing that really puts Notre Dame into perspective, you know, and this is what helped Carr really well. But those 2 games were your toughest, and I think now, because of those losses, it really helped your team out significantly. I'm still on the bandwagon fan. I still have faith that this Notre Dame team can do it. That's just what I mean by you guys can write your own history. You guys got a lot of things to look forward to. So that's all I got for you, bud.
Hey, I appreciate it. Thanks for touching base. And even not as a Notre Dame fan, looking at him, trying to be objective and fair. Thank you. Enjoy the start of your week.
You too. Thank you.
Have a good one. Man, that guy's always respectful. I'll give him that. Nobody likes it when Ohio State people call or anybody else or anything, but like very respectful. Very respectful. 949, what's going on?
Hey, John, I am driving around Sarasota looking for people to talk about Boise State.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if that's going to work as easy as it did leading into the Miami game, but you can try.
Yeah. I echo the sentiment of having just gotten back from Arkansas. Beautiful country, great people. Before, during, and after the game, if you could find them.
Yeah, you know what, man? Hey, I've heard that. Everybody that I know that went said everybody was respectful, very nice, like polite, and I give them a lot of credit for that. Good culture then.
I travel to a lot of away games, and that's definitely top 3.
Awesome.
Just amazing. It's a beautiful campus, but, you know, it wasn't. The downtown and campus don't mix like Clemson. Clemson's got a better setup. It's just so far from their little downtown, which they call Dixon Street, for Arkansas. What I saw from my seat, I had 2 different seats. I upgraded in the second half, compliments to Arkansas fans. But from what I could see from the nosebleeds is glaring holes by the defense. It was about 60% of the time we played man, and the time that we went zone, we were in trouble. So I think that's still going to continue to happen. That's a big concern. The O-line gave Carr all damn day most of the time. There were a couple of breakdowns where he had to throw quick, but the bottom line is it looked really, really good.
Yeah. There's a lot to build off of, man, especially defensively. I love what's going on the offense, but that defense just needed to gain momentum and some confidence. And even the win over Purdue didn't quite give you enough of that. You still gave up 30, and it was very ugly at times. This was a much better, cleaner effort. And I just hope they build off it and don't fall back. I hope this is the baseline moving forward and there isn't like the regression back. I need that.
Yeah, I think we all do. And I want to welcome those people that jumped off the Notre Dame fandom after the first 2 games. Welcome them back because I know they're scraping their knees trying to get back on the bandwagon.
Hey, we went from the season is over to we're back ending it into the playoff real quick, didn't we, with some of these people?
Absolutely. There's hope. and that's what we all thrive on is hope. And you know, like you and everybody else has said, there's a lot to fix, but the season is long. All we have to do is win, and we'll be all right.
Hey, it's I don't know, man. This next 3-game stretch is everything. If you're back home for 3 weeks, and if you're able to get to that second bye off week with just the 2 losses, I like your chances of 10-2, and then you just scoreboard watch, see if things fall your way. But you gotta eat. These are 3 uniquely challenging opponents with Boise, NC State, and USC. Totally different flavors for each, and you just gotta win.
Well, I'll echo what 402 Buckeye said is, yeah, and I've said this even before the season started, USC is going to be a lot better than what most people believe. But the bottom line is that's going to be a tough game. We got to get through that. Then we can coast. You know, we still got to get better each week, but we can coast a little bit after USC.
Yeah, and listen, here's the other thing. I don't want to get too far out of this because you have 3 games here and a defense that could lose at any time. I do want to say this, though. I've never Chris Ash defending Navy is on my radar. Like that is circled on. It's way down the road, but Ash putting a defense out there against Navy is a little. I don't know if I trust that. But that is a worry I'll have down the road. I'm just throwing that out there.
I'm gonna clean my ears out of what you just said. I'm gonna focus on the fact that Arkansas was a rocking chair game. It was glorious when they filed out. I'll post some videos on your Twitter so you can see what I saw from my seat. But it was fun. It was a rocking chair game, and we need more of those. Boise, their running back that they've got, he's not Genty, but he's damn good. So that's something to focus on. But, you know, God bless you. God bless everybody listening, and go Irish.
Have a good one, buddy. He's driving around the mean streets. I just remember, dude, I was waiting for something bad to happen when he's like, I'm in the crappiest part of Miami trying to find people that hate Notre Dame to talk to. I'm like, bro, is this like, have you seen those like YouTube pranks where like people walk up to people and they're like, hey, you got a problem? Like, and it's all for a prank, but they're like in real hoods where dudes are like ready to do something. You're doing too much to get views. You're doing too much to get views. Kent. Imagine going off hope in week 5. Kent, I don't know what to tell you. I hate where we're at. You shouldn't be here. You're in a bad spot. You failed in the beginning of the year. Like, it's not a good spot to be, Kent. But I'm not lying. All Notre Dame can do is win all their games and then hope it's enough to back your way into the playoff. That's all you could do. We put ourselves in a bad position, and this is the best you can do right now. And that's frustrating. That's really frustrating. It really is. Ronald McDonald, dude, you can't possibly think you're going to come in here and then say derogatory things about my business partner and friend and then think I'm just going to let it fly. Like, it's just aggressive to like think you could do that, like to come at it that way and think that it's going to be okay. Anyways, all right, you guys, that's going to be it. Really, really lively, good show today. Really good blend of callers, good chat, good donations. I appreciate it, man. You guys are great. We'll see you on Monday Night Raw.